So I'm just doing a run on each one quickly. I've sort of finished with the game now. I've got over 400 hours between two save files in the game. And a second save file was me just to do the whole thing from beginning to end on solo, where, you know, the first one I unlocked with friends and my son in his mid-20s. First R8 kill was with, him and his friend, and with three of you it makes the game easier. You try to do everything on solo, and then I set my task to beat everything on Spiritual Assault solo, and that's really easily, and there's videos, easy to do if you know what to do and what to put in your container and how spores work. So you can get spores level 1. If you just have a look on the monkey, I've done one for each hero because there's sometimes little variations on what I put in the Spirit Concentrator. And you might be searching for the monkey, so I just did that. And I've done one yesterday or the day before where I've done the monkey on 8 and using the same principles I'm going to be using on the monkey here of getting spores early, because skills really don't scale well. They perform well because of overconsumption here. Notice that overconsumption and lone wolf gives you an extra spiritual blessing at the start, but the enemies are much fiercer because it's like you're playing co-op 2-player mode there. And yeah, so I just want to do it level 1 because I want to make the video short and I don't edit, I don't stream really, just to show you it works from 1 to 8, and you can have a look on hard mode when I did a Jockle run yesterday or the day before, they all blur in. And what that was is it's really just hard mode. It's the hardest level in the game. You get challenges in nearly every room, Act 1 to 4, and then Act 4 is crazy hard, and especially the last room before the boss, it's always innumerable elites. So if you want to see that these choices at the start work for all heroes, you can have a look at that in the Spiritual Assault and so forth. Okay, so we're just going to go in, and I want to, as I said, do the one. I might put some 8s up later. I did all my 8s before I started recording, and it is tough on ones you don't. That's what I'm looking for straight up. If you don't have a lot of essence, you will have to, excuse me, I had a cold. You will have to do 3 rolls, roll out, run out, and you won't be charged for the essence unless you go through the door. So just come in, do your 3, 4, pop out. They get more expensive as you keep increasing the roll and the refresh, and choose it. But we got it first run. The downside of that is you can only have 20 scrolls, but that's helpful because overconsumption gets weaker with every scroll that you get. And legendary reduces by 3%, a rare scroll by 2, and a normal scroll by 1. Now, Spores wants fast firing weapons, but at this stage you can take whatever you want because you're super powerful because you're 300% weapon damage, and your Qs will one-shot everything. Just not wanting to hunt around the room for our Qs all the time, so that's a good one. Fire rate's pretty good. Over 1,000 is what I'm looking for. It'll work as a pinch, as a spore planter, but we're looking for, just getting some ammo in that around the room in the first act. Looking for Angelic Aura, fastest firing gun in the game, best spore weapon in the game in some sense, but we're after a rainbow or a radioactive glove, especially on harder content, because they have, the rainbow shoots through walls, you can play defensively. The overconsumption and our chain essence is just hitting 300%. Okay, I'm shooting for ammo and Qs. And they're enhanced and they just die pretty quick. I just got stuck on something. What was that? It's weird. So look at build now. We're looking for, I've got another window open here. Generally that, but we're going to prioritise defence over DPS and skill damage because we want to survive, and our 300% overconsumption is going to kill everything anyway. So I want this one here because its aura protection is wonderful. You're killing an enemy and you're getting max shield increase and minus damage. So we're looking for that for protection and that one for protection. Obviously these will help early on But this one's a nice one because the way spores works, and that's why it becomes a top priority, is the higher the weapon damage on the offhand, helps with the main hand as well, but it's really the offhand that's doing the heavy lifting. The harder the spores hits, the higher the projectile count, the higher the base damage of the weapon. I'll show you that when we get a shotty. This is good in the first act. This weapon has got shot on it, just takes their shield off really quick. Really for a sniper build, and I would not choose that because we lost 1% of overconsumption. And you can do that by there. But I want to keep it for a chest that might say hand over a scroll. And I've only got good ones. I don't want to hand one of those over, so I'll keep a crap one. That's 1%. Said skill damage doesn't scale well. It's alright in the first 2 acts, but we won't need it once we get spores, just defensively. Spores just rocks since they changed it. It used to have to be when spores first came out, and I hadn't played the game then. I just read the notes that you had to change your weapons or swap weapons to get the benefit of spores and plant something with one weapon. Nobody was using it. It wasn't great. Then they changed it, and now you just need a high firing weapon to make the spore stacks stack quickly. And a good off, shotgun, the Wild Hunt or the Argus are the best two. So we're just looking for a weapon at this stage. If I get time, I'll do an 8 on this, but I probably won't commentate on it because it just does make it slower. So we've got some good protection ones. Got a chat chest that might have asked for that scroll. We're going to do rare. I want to get ostrich boots. Just a second, I have to pause. Sorry about that. Because on this hero, it's our shield that we get our defense from, and we get extra shield. We're going to take that. It's a really good scroll. You wouldn't do the one that turns your shield to health. It'd be really bad. Well, for this hero. If you're on the dog, it gets its HP and health regen by dual wielding. You would do the other one. I think it's flesh and bones it's called. Don't rush into here, get exploding heads. And beetles and traps like that and slowed. Those red grenades slow you, as well as the corrosion. You do like an electric explosion, it traps you. And then you get an exploding head, and it's the end of the run. Now with overconsumption, this is treated as a 2-player. Even on this you can die until you get spores. Just looking around over Mr. Craftsman, sometimes they're up there, looking at the mini-map. Because we need to get our Argus or Wild Hunt quickly. Get rid of that, don't need that. Don't go around the corner here. I was going to say exploding heads coming, they're empowered, 2 of them. Early days, ran around the corner, bang, drop dead, runs over. And we're going to get beetles possibly, so just do Q. More heads, more exploding. And alien invasion, what level are we on? 1? I haven't had a beetle invade here. Usually doesn't happen on lower levels, happens a lot on higher. He's pretty easy. Just he charges where you just were, his crit spots, his eyes, the red spots there, but you don't need to crit with overconsumption. But we are critting, there's yellow numbers everywhere. Okay, I'm going to pick up that injector, it's level 2 as a possible. Goblet, that's a good thing about an alien invasion early, you get an extra. Not that they're great, so we'll just do that one, we're not after the Soul Strike build. I'll take that because I might get the Radioactive Glove. We've got a pupil as a maybe actually. Let's take a lucky shot. We're looking for rate of fire on our weapons. I'm actually going to keep that one. We'll get a better main weapon before the boss. We've got 2 peddlers, 2 craftsmen. That is not a great if that was an Argus or Wild Hunt, the multiplier would be 50, and the base damage would be like 104. So you want a high base damage, high projectile count, but it's good as a temp. Because we can re-roll for free, you can actually use a shoddy temporary if you don't get a better one along the way. Sorry about that, there's a bit happening here. There's a high running in after pausing, not a good place to pause, is it? All you got to do is get spores, and no matter what you've got when you've got that, everything will just be destroyed, whether it was an 8 or even an 8 jockle. And as I said, you can see the links of that in my channel. Now for that to work, when you pick up that scroll, you actually got to toss it temporary, and then you'll be able to use this chat chest. I don't need money. I'm going to see, you might get snow boots or something, bullet light's all right. Just got to watch your ammo a little bit. It uses, your ammo to get lucky shot chance until you get some scrolls that help with that, like against the flow. I did this on an 8 yesterday, and they had glazed on them, which has a, you've got to do damage to then get the glaze off, and there's not much room in this room. Did it, but man, close. Bit of a brutal room for the glazed. Just got to get that Grenadier back down a sec. Okay. Sunder doesn't have a high projectile count either, so really bad shoddy. What have we got? Okay, I'm going to take that because I'm going to do an experiment. It's got to do with weapon levels. We get base 2 weapon levels on our gun whenever we use our Q. Hoping for an Argus or a Wild Hunt. That's just a base 15% lucky shot. But we didn't get our shoddy. But you got a good chance off there. Powerful enhanced. You just get close to him and you try to get behind him straight in, so he gets confused, so he can get some damage. He can't shoot through that. Okay. Phantom Peddler might get a shoddy or a really good enhanced scroll. Oh dear, that's not going to help us actually, because we turned our health to 1. That would have been a temporary shoddy. It doesn't matter about the inscriptions on it, just the projectile count, but you really want to settle on a Wild Hunt and it to drop early in the first act or early second. Gonna get an elite spawn in here. You could get the beetle. You could get the guy that spins, which is the most dangerous. He moves pretty fast, and he's got lots of armor to burn through before you can get to his health. But on, yep, this guy, but because it's got one, it's a bit easier, just can't get close to him. Just hitting his crit spot to get that off. Just use this centre thing, pillar. By the way, you can reload on this weapon, I keep forgetting to take your finger off. Once you get that off, he's dead. On an 8, he's pretty tough. So if you're just trying to get it for the first time, jump out of the room, you just lose a scroll and a couple of weapon chances, and none of those weapon chances were good. Not worth dying. Improved clip's not bad. That might. I'm going to do that for now. Movement speed. That and that together are pretty good because you're going to pick up always the ammo for your type. Just getting some ammo. Should have bought it off the peddler because money's not an issue. Not that peddler, the other one. Okay, this room, if it's the long room, which it is the toughest room you can get in this act. The longbowmen are the most dangerous, which is there. On a harder level. Well, they can still drop you now. Just keep doing your Q, just get, see how our shield's up to 400. Q increases our max shield. shoot down on there. If you get close, you can taunt them. So don't worry about the shield guys. Get the grenades, they're going to trap you. There's our Argus. We've got our weapon for the run. And it's level 2. So, and we got an Inheritor. We got our 2 weapons. We will just need 2 Craftsmen. So the first boss will melt like in seconds. Yeah, if it was on an 8, it would melt in seconds. Just trying to give you the principles that work for Reincarnation. Shields are not the most dangerous there. They'll shoot where you just were. It's the long bow and then the melee. Just kite around and get all the melee down and then go for these guys. Our Q will go through their shield too. Okay, we've got our 2 weapons to go back full and we just need 2 Craftsmen, which are ahead. So defense on that one, even though that defense over DPS. And there's our Craftsman, so I'll show you how to etch. I did want to do an experiment whether you could craft earlier, but didn't see that until after everything's dead. So we're going to pick up that for our main weapon. Change to that. That says 13, but it's going to go up. It goes up when you pick it up to 16.25. And that's for the whole run. Doesn't matter the inscriptions on the shotgun. It just matters the projectile count and the base damage, and that scales really good. Best shotgun in the game. Now the Hell's got a higher projectile count, 17 point something, but really low base damage, so it's not great. Let's swap those weapons around. I just have my main there. So we need to bump that up. If we etch that now, we just get another green. We need to get that to 5, so we bump that up our 3. Etch it. Reforge it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Took 5. We're just showing you that it can be unlucky and I clicked too fast because it's not risky. But 5's, 1,500 gold. You got 2 weapons. Okay, so we can't etch that until we get to the next Craftsman. But it's got an extra projectile. What we're looking for on here, it's got Lucky Shot. That's doing nothing. But the extra projectile is helpful in the 1.2. So that's like a 0.2 every 5th shot, and we're firing over 1,200 rounds. It means it's, an extra 20% deeps just on the base damage. It's boss time, and we'll just get spores now. We're just looking for a weapon here. If there was an injector here, I would toss it for the Argus. I want the Argus in the last act, not the Argus, Angelic Aura. I might do that because we're using our Q defensively. That'll give us 16 of our essence chain, and I've said if that turns up, I'll be going for it. It's got Lucky Shot chance of 40. The middle one's not doing anything, but we're not worried about that. Everything will just melt. So now what we have to do is we're going to bump it up to 5, etch it, and re-roll spores. And this first boss, if it was an 8, and the next act would, and you can have a look at the video to see how this performs. At an 8 and an 8 Jockle, it works the same. If you get this combination now, everything through to act 2 and 3 just destroys it. Elites melt. Just look at ammo before you go out. The injectors burn through it until we get some scrolls. This doesn't have a lot of range, this. So you've got to be close, and then what you do to get, you have to right click his chest, choose your quit spot, and get out of there, and he's dead. Once you get in his crit spot, right click, this weapon can crit if you right click basically. I don't like airbag. Oh, I should have done it for this, because I had unless you have Paranormality, it's good. It'll give us a free shield when it goes down to 0. Forgot that I had that, doesn't matter. That doesn't really, that's a bit of ammo help, and I don't want anything on our soul, our soul strike. It's just not got the defensive. If it was on my bunny, my E is my defense, and on a lot of other classes actually. Okay, we'll hop through. We've got a choice at first, but everything will just be one shot. You saw the boss melt. I did on an 8. The second boss was 5 seconds. It died. And that's the best choice you can get for this. It means now, if it was an 8, you're going to get through to the run regardless. Think about this, it just one-shots everything now. You just run around, have some fun. If it was an 8, you'd be doing the same. These are really dangerous, the arsonists without spores. Elite Invasion, which I really like, and they're the most dangerous here because they slow you. So you use the terrain to block him. That's why the rainbow's so good, and I swapped it for the angelic aura, even though it's got a 5-star fire rate. Don't need money. Just looking now for Craftsman, which is up ahead. And the only thing we need the Craftsman for is to upgrade our off weapon. Now remember, the game pauses, so even if there are enemies just ahead, they would be paused when you come to a peddler, if you're solo, not in co-op. So we'll be keeping this for the long run. This makes no difference. We're looking on here for 50% lucky shot killing enemy, or 50% lucky shot for the first 50% magazine, or 25%, not lucky shot, sorry, rate of fire, and then lucky shot secondary. Normal terrain. I want to try to get rate of fire. So we got lucky shot. Stability makes no difference, but that would have hurt the angelic aura because it auto targets. Lightning's nice, and that means we're not reloading. So yeah, that's all good because we're just one-shotting everything. It's reloading for us. I just wanted to do the quick level 1 run. As I said, I'll put an 8 up later if I get time. But I'm moving on to another game. Spores is really powerful. As I said, I'll put a link into the bunny so you just see that what I'm doing here was happening in the 8 and even 8 jockle. The only thing that makes the 8s harder, and it is significantly harder than the 7, is that every room has a challenge, and this room could be you've got to crit with the foundry and try to get close to these guys with tiny heads and not die. It's really dangerous. Looking around here for faults. Now I could run through the game without those, but just try to pretend it's an 8. And this room's going to have an elite. And it can be pretty tough, this room, if you don't have spores. Even that foundry one, if you've got spores, they, take 90% reduced damage. Like, look at that. There's another chance at a weapon if we didn't have it. Always just look at the inscriptions. It's got more projectile again. It's pretty nice. Don't need gold, as I said, and it's really nice to take that out of the equation. Really nice, that one. So it's weapon damage, but minus 70% max HP. We've got that scroll already, so we get 75 weapon damage and no penalty because we've got Paranormality. So it's a really good combination with those two. We don't get the negative impact of the scroll, we just get the 75%. It's nice. So we're just going to do that because we don't care about getting the Soul Strike, and that is a top pick. Oh no, it isn't the top pick, wrong one. It's an A pick, but it helps because we're doing our Q a lot. Well, we're not doing it now. This game's not hard, but defensively we would when we get that shield one tapped out. Bumping up this. We've got a weapon already up to 16 with that, and if we can bump that up with our Ascensions, our look at the Argus, it's got 279. It shows that in real time the base damage has gone up. Just means that this is just do your Q for your weapons every now and then. Here the Argus hitting harder. I'll have to come back and do an 8 on this. It is one of the funner classes to do. Heroes. Just looking around for possible side room. Sometimes on the wall around the other side. And we've got a peddler. These are really important if you haven't got your shoddy by now, and we would have got that. What's that got on it? It's got rate of fire and killing an enemy. That's really crazy, but we got locked out. So you'd have to come back for it. And it's a 1, but I would go for that because that's the best stat in the game for spores. It means you've got 50% rate of fire, so this would be 1500 rate of fire. 100% uptime because we're killing enemies with spores just instantly. I will go back and just show you that weapon works, but this is nice. The terrain usually defensive, but it's a level 1. The advantage the other one has is it slows the enemies. So when you get rooms full of elites on the 8s or innumerable elites, we can go back to the Craftsman's why we can change now. Never go ahead on hard levels without having spores on the weapon. It just really just makes night and day. One of my videos I tossed the shotgun on the ground for a second and it wasn't killing anything. The heavy lifting is done by these two numbers. So we need to etch it. Anything in the second act doesn't have to be level 5. Oh, it's got a rate of fire on it too. So it's going to have 75%, because the cursed one, that's the best one we can look at on the cursed vendor or phantom vendor. We will re-roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, this might be a record. 13 rolls. 13 times 3 is 3,600 gold. And we wouldn't have that gold there because we would have etched the other weapon and been down to near 0 and would have upgraded. This has more, what do you call it, range. The rainbow, you've got to be close, but the thing about the rainbow is you can tuck around things, get around corners, shoot through them. So it's a better defensive weapon until you get your defensive Ascensions and some scrolls like Feline Cat's the best in the game for defense. Backup shield. It's just going to one shot. I won't even do the enhanced beam. If you click the right click like that, it spreads to enemies, 3 other enemies that are close around. But because everything's one-shotting so quick, you know, don't need to. These are usually dangerous. And the other thing about the corrosion is anything with armour. That's the yellow one. That shows you high projectile count, but base damage doesn't scale well. And we wouldn't change our shoddy. Once you've got your shoddy, that's it. There's no reason. We've already got our shoddy upgrade. Again, not good, not good. And we'll go for a lucky shot chance. Anything gives us weapon damage. We'll also, if you've got your stuff, you can only etch, by the way, if you've got that tree that allows you to do that on the right hand side of the talents. I'm just looking around. Sometimes there's a vault on the inside of that or a chat chest hidden. Sometimes around there even there's a little peddler, though they won't be in the same room as the Craftsman. Okay, we're coming to the first boss, which is just going to melt. Got a peddler there, so this is usually a bit rough without spores. If you haven't got it by this stage, you're going to have snipers spawn, guys that charge you. And there's a sniper. Easy mode with this. Nothing, I'm looking for scrolls now really, nothing more. I'll do that for reload. We had the other one that was doing reload on killing enemy, but this has gone to rate of fire. That's not bad. And that's not bad. Reset on miss doesn't affect us because this auto targets, so we never miss. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. This room's reversed sometimes, and that's the exit, and that's the exit. Straight to here. This is a bit of a rough one. You've got some snipers and little robot head guys with they can one-shot you on high levels. So just got to bump that up. We're now hitting above 200, and without a Q, which I'll do. Let me see. We've now got a weapon level of 19, hitting above 300. That's why the monkey's so powerful with spores, because our Q, once we get 3 of those, can be 15 weapon levels. And then you get one where it hits more enemies. It just destroys on high content. And it's specifically because we're, you know, the faster the fire weapon and the fire rate goes up with the weapon level. It just really has nice synergy with spores, and not all your arrows do. Come on, robot head, get out of my way. Got plenty of Qs, 21. I'm just looking at the red on the mini map here. They're enhanced, but it is a 1, but you know, on 8 they'd be dying the same. The nice thing about this is it slows these guys if we're range, and they do last a bit longer on the harder modes. And corrosive is really good just to slow the enemy. Okay, got aura protection up 3, so after killing an enemy now, let's see our shield's up to 400 there. It's bossing time. So you've got really good defensives if there was an 8. I like that. Normally we'd do that, but you know, we're just on a 1. Sometimes you get your shoddy here, so if you're still struggling, you could use that in a pinch, low hit, but anything that does play spores, you know. So just bump that up. Crit spot on this boss is its mouth, or both bosses. And if you're using the rainbow, you'd right click that spot with this at Lord O target and melt this guy in a few seconds. Honestly, it wouldn't have lasted a lot more, and you would have got your Argus and being able to roll it to replace if you got a bad shoddy that you did temporary. But the earlier in the run, the higher our Argus is already up to 17, you know. Really is good to get it early. So normally if you're doing, you know, you'd be doing that one, just increase +6 weapon chain capacity, recover the use of, you know, after 25 hits. We've got a very fast firing weapons, and we're not scrounging around for our secondaries, but I'm going to do lucky shot chance or normal inscription. I'm going to go the lucky shot chance after killing enemy. We're getting our lucky shot up, and a really nice defensive scroll if this was an 8. I mean, this is not hard at all. I mean, you can die in here, but once you get spores, you take a big breath of relief. You'd be hoping for fake death, which we have already, if you hadn't got it by now. Just choose something that does not hurt your weapon damage, or increases weapon damage. We're not really after skills now. You could do that one, it's not bad. You can, I'm going to do that. Just sometimes you can re-roll these. Just understand it re-roll spores. So once you roll these 3 times, trying to get rate of fire on another weapon that might be ahead, you have to re-roll that back to spores. It changes everything on the weapon. It's a good way to get some really awesome weapons. And what you can get, and I've done in the past, is you're looking for rate of fire first after killing enemy, which we got, but lucky shot chance on the same weapon, and that's just great for bossing. Enhanced beam there because they're punched up. So the enhance just spreads to 3 nearby enemies within 6 meters, so they've got to be close. Because it's corrosive, even if this was an 8 or an 8 jockle, it eats through the octopus's armour. Sometimes there's a chest up there. I think for the sake of the run, I'm just going to run through and not do the side rooms, but you would definitely not do that on an 8. I'm just really trying to show how even without scrolls, we get enough to go through to the end boss now and destroy everything in between. On an easier run like this, spores just destroys. Bump it up 3 times, don't miss your Craftsman. On a higher difficulty, it really is doing the heavy lifting. We can toss our main weapon at any time. But I wouldn't be tossing my main weapon unless there was rate of fire and lucky shot chance on it, or stacking lucky shot chance if it was elusive to 150. Just sort of mean on a higher level you can melt the boss, you know, very quickly. In this room it's kappas and octopuses and the catfish that are dangerous. This weapon is great for the entire run. We could do the entire run with just this low level weapon. It's just a spore planner. It's got such fire rate, high fire rate, that's already procking and showing us the proc, that we're doing over nearly 1,600 rounds, which is equal to, and there's a back there, if you were doing I won't do it. No, I could do it just to show you. Oh no, it doesn't matter. Just, we're melting elites, everything. Nothing's going to hurt us. I'm going to go for the weapon level, simply that longer that does after our Q, you'll see our Argus, it would destroy on an 8 with that. So let me just see here. So you do that. We've got a weapon level of 28, an extra 8 levels. We're above. That's usually where you are bossing. We're in the third, you know, the third act, and destroying everything, as if we had done the whole run. So the monkey has a great advantage with spores. That's why it works the best for the monkey. We've got a 31 weapon, so it's 365. Now it's 464. The monkey has a real advantage with spores. The synergy is just, you wouldn't want to use anything else. I tried a Crudel build, I tried a sniper build, I tried all these other ones, and they were just lackluster. Much of the content of those builds anyway, the videos are old and outdated before spores, and that's why they're not even using them in the videos and telling you about them and telling you other builds are inferior. And that's the only reason I started recording recently. And there was nothing on Spiritual Assault that was accurate or helpful. I could not do that place. I'm just used to going in there. I won't do it. I want to speed the run up. Sharks here are dangerous, but this has got good range and you can slow them. But if you had the rainbow, you can use you can get the shark on the other side and just strafe them. They can't chain you through, that rock. You just strafe into it. That guy does a frontal. So that's the advantage of the rainbow. The only thing about the rainbow is the next boss we're heading towards, if it's the guy with the cannons and the ship, you have to swap weapons, and you've got a peddler before, and we've got plenty of money to do it to anything that was fire. Fire rate's high. Where this is really good for the cannons, it'll auto-target. I don't know why the rainbow doesn't auto-target the cannons on this does. So, yeah, I like the rainbow early, and then if it's on that boss I have to change, and then in the last act. I do like the angelic aura for the last stretch on a jockle, because it really is high fire rate and means that that gets pretty tough. So I'm just doing that. Don't care about the damage the other two gave us with our Q, or the lower the damage, the health of the enemy. Really defense and weapon damage we're going for. And the thing is, even if you don't get those, you can see that spores will carry a bad RNG on Ascensions that you don't get your build, where you are unsuccessful for the run if you don't get what you need. Takes the RNG out of the run a lot more. Get our weapon above 400 even before our Q. It'll be like hitting around 500, an extra 20% damage on our spores. We're really not doing our E, so I'm not going to reduce my overconsumption. It's not great. Nothing there that excites me. Coming up, the most dangerous here are the lobsters and the sharks. You have to go in for the lobsters quick, and the monks. You want to make sure you take those down so you don't get chased by lancers constantly. The octopuses can slow you down, that's their danger, and we don't have the anti-slow snow boots or corrosion shard are good. I'll get plenty of money to roll here. I've got to give one away, there's money. Don't care about money. That's the one I say, keep a bad scroll. So you want to go in here and get them so they don't bombard you, they can end the run. I'm not doing the enhanced beam. I would if it was an 8, because they would last a bit longer, but giving my right click a rest. I've been doing too many runs. Your fingers get a bit tired. What I'm doing here, these doesn't even affect us, this challenge. It just means they make a delayed damage, but we're doing so much damage. It's not funny. Even on an 8, it wouldn't affect us. Going in for the lobsters. You always spawn up there or on the cliffs, jump down. The Kappas are dangerous because they slow you, and the portal's open. Just rushing through to the boss at this stage. And they're good runs, just do essence runs too on here. I'm going for, that would be good, and on this I could do that, but that is a great one, minus 40% from anything you're doing your chain for 8 seconds. And we've got our two best Ascensions here, that one and that one are just so powerful. So you're just doing your Q now. I won't do that. And we've got the Serpent, so we could have kept, if we had the rainbow, the rainbow for the Serpent Boss. If it was the other guy, you know, you'd come up here and I'd tell you what I'd choose. Anything fast firing. We've got our Angelic Aura, and that's a really nice Angelic Aura. It's got an extra projectile. It burns through ammo, so it's got the accuracy and stability, which is really nice because that lifts quite a lot. The shock effect's doing nothing. But we probably would have a chest ahead that says roll a normal to a rare, and I would do that. So I would have swapped to that. So just showing you could have swapped from the rainbow if you had it. Just looking for scrolls. Bumping that up, this will be easy mode. We've got good defense. Just doing our Q for our on the boss for defense. And what's our base shield? It's 412 because we've got Paranormality. Got a big buffer before we die. And if we do our... Let's get out of that. It's going to jump. See, they can slam Q and E. He's going under. You just get between for that. Just keep doing your Q for the defense. I got hit. It means that they're doing less 45%. Just keep moving for that part. So we got it. Not that it was going to be an issue. We've got a rainbow here. What do we got? So it's got crit X, which would be good if we picked that up on the last boss, because you right click his face and get the crits, but this weapon's not doing crit spots. So what we got, even though it's level 10, is much better simply because of that 50% rate of fire, and that's a nice bonus, and that's a nice bonus. So you know, that is a really good extra shackle, and we're not using it to kill, just it means it hits more, which means more defense on the enemies that are trying to attack us if they're bunched up, because they're doing less, you know, damage. If you're on Jockle, you can actually swap one of the 3 blessings here, and what I would do on Jockle is swap that one out. So we've got 9k, and I would be actually smelting some stuff along the way to make sure I just got tons of money. And then I'd choose, you know, something out of there that was better, if it was better. You know, you might get a fake death off that, and that can really make the run successful. And we're not dying, but I don't know, you can fall over very easily on a Jockle especially. Just running through and making this a quick run now. You do a speed run with spores early too. I'm not really interested in speed runs. I just want to be successful. We got an invasion. Stalker that splits into 3. And the one that's the bullet sponge is the real one, but with spores it doesn't matter. Even if it was 8, it wouldn't matter. And 8 Jockle, you know, it's a bit tough. Played defensively. Bumping it up, we got a weapon of over 476, advantage of getting it early. And then we do our Q. No, I did it too quickly. We've got a 574, like that is just going to, that would destroy 8s along here, like this. Most dangerous to these guys, they charge, and a bit like the bandits in the second act, it's not the initial charge that's the damage, it's the charge hurts you, it slows you, and then they do a thump that one shots you. So this is a great like long range weapon. You just, stalkers up there, the snipers are dangerous. Most dangerous in this last act actually are the mountain guards, anything like that with like the frost, they slow you and then the other enemies catch up. Just going to not do the vault. Don't need anything in the shotgun at the moment, and it'll be a bit late to have a shotty by now. Said nothing in the inscriptions matters. That number and that number is the only thing. I don't even need to do my Q defensively on a 1, but just to get weapon damage up. You know, keep it up, that's what you'll do. You can get 15 if you get a 3 of those, I think it is. I don't care about the normal scroll, I don't care about money. Nothing there helpful. Often in this act I do like the chat chest because I will roll a weapon that has average inscriptions, and it will say reroll all normal, so usually the blues are already good, like lucky shot, something, rate of fire, and then it makes a decent weapon just awesome, and you need it for the last act on the high difficulties. said, I'll try to do an 8 lately. There's just a bit of real life happening at the moment, and I don't have the disposable time just to put videos up on heroes that, you know, beat the game on them already on my 8 runs, just were not recording them. Took several runs to do it, by the way, on heroes. I had to learn, and especially before I worked out how to get spores early. I always got it by the 3rd act, but that's too late. I'll just do that. It's nice. What do we get? It's a lucky dip. Just got crit X, which isn't helping us at all. But you get the next level, then it goes up from to a normal, then to a rare, you know. So you can get some really nice ones. You can get lucky shot or rate of fire again, bumping that up. You don't need any other weapons for the run now. Oh, if you're doing this on an 8, like every room, you just step in and read your message, because it's the challenge that makes it hard. They're really dangerous on high levels. I wouldn't rush in like this. They slow you with their frost, and their range is bigger than the animation. Always get the swords down, shields and stuff, but don't go in for the sorcerer and then die to cavalry, the guys on horseback, because they just nuke you in one shot. Stalker's dangerous, but you can use the terrain. You hear their click, they're reloading, and then they shoot, and then you just pop up and they're reloading and you can nuke them. So I do like the sounds in this game. They warn you, even on the bandits in the 2nd act, just when it's safe to pop out and nuke, and then pop back again if there's a few of them. They're the dangerous ones, and they took a bit of my health shield off them, but it's a 1, and we, you know. Just a comment, if you're still following, you didn't just skip to the boss, which I most imagine you would. I probably would. I would just look at the chapter markers for the important info. The only reason I wanted to do this is to show you what really the build that you want to go for, it defensively changes up than most of the sites would show you, all the channels. And you struggle through a jockle on this one, having done that before. I think 400 hours in a game is about enough. So the shield just means they take a delay. It's like that one that you can get a challenge in the room. I've got to get my shooting, get my weapon up, lasting long and out. Hard to get line of sight on these guys. Okay, they're gone. What do we got on that? That's a nice one, 50% on killing an enemy. They just, like every 1 and 2 can drop instantly, especially on higher content. You get quick reload, 50% lucky shot chance, but I want the 50% rate of fire, because spores. I would pick that up and re-roll it, but I'd have to go back for a Craftsman. Slow the run. I never go through to the next room on this act ever without spores. It's boss time, especially it's boss time. I didn't realise it's so quick. I'm just looking for a scroll that might be awesome, survivable, but don't care about skill damage. I'm going to bump that up. And now I've got a weapon that's 550. I think that's the highest I've got, because we got it early, 1st act. And then it's going to go up higher, above 600. So every 30 stacks of spores is just smashing. This guy won't last long. I'll do that to get my weapon levels up. Just kill the canister. Take the boss. Just a cue to get your weapon levels up. We're going to push him beyond. When he usually does the orbs, that are pretty dangerous. But we're going to push him beyond the orb phase, straight to the burn phase. Just cue, and then keep your left finger down. He's done. Anyway, hopefully that helps you understand how spores work. Before I go, I'll just show you the loadout of the Spirit Concentrator. They help me understand that the Inheritor at the start is very strong, because it enables you to get spores early and not have the issue of money. So I'll just show you that. Lots of essence. It's a good essence farm, Reincarnation 1. Even if you spend along the way, which we did. Let's see what we got. Still made 829, and we spent, all the way through. So you're ready for your next run and to do something. So you need that etching to be able to get spores in the 1st act. You don't need these 3 if you're doing solo play, or those 2. They're Very important for co-op, but not solo. Obviously, if you're struggling with the high content, you want to get your tree down and just farm essence. Spiritual Assault is a good place to do that, a lot easier, because you can push your weapon dropping within 1 minute if you watch that. This used to be really important for me, because I was struggling for money and hoping to get scrolls to get spores on by early, late second act, ready for third act when it got tough. But when I realised, why don't I just do the Inheritor? That one's a good one to get a second chance at a shotgun if it hasn't dropped, but I haven't had that problem. And then just the Spirit Concentrator, and you can have a look at the video, just look at the channel. I've done a playlist for all heroes on Spiritual Assault, but let's go to that. This is how I worked it out. I don't know how it took me so long. I've been running this for ages, but that is the same choice at the start, same penalty, 20 scrolls. But that makes the weapons level 5. Well, it means that when the Craftsman comes out at 1 minute, everything on the Craftsman and every enemy that you kill every 50 will drop an injector that has Gemini and a shotgun, and you can re-roll them for free. Same deal. You can see the other choices there, but have a look at the video and it shows you how to do that and maximise that, and it's successful every time once you work it out. Again, you choose defensives, the same things that we chose here for Spiritual Assault. Have a good day, and I hope that helps people playing the monk. It's a fun little class, and I do like the animation on the Essence chain.